angels, welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot and your March 2024 reading. Just a little bit about this reading so I don't have to take up your time in your reading to tell each reading about what's going to happen. We are going to get sort of the main theme for your month. What is like kind of the main energy around your month? We're going to get quite a bit of information. That's going to be the bulk of the reading, getting, you know, themes and stories connected to that theme, kind of really deep dive into something going on that is pivotal for your month, kind of overlaying that energy. And then we will get, at the end of the reading, a couple quick kind of short little things as well. We'll look at the two main categories of your life that will be experiencing some sort of event. So even though those may not be themes throughout the whole month, at some point it may even just be one day there's something important that happens in this area of your life, but the rest of the month didn't really center on it. But we still want to pick up those things, like where are some really big events going to happen in your life outside of just that general feeling of the month. And then we will end with getting a message from the goddess realm and the spirit realm through the feather messengers, just to kind of leave you with some general guidance from the other realms. Okay, so we've got 4 piles to choose from today. Pile 1 is the shaman. Pile 2 is the cave. Pile 3 is the temple. And pile 4 is the unseen. So tune into these 4 piles. Try to just feel into which one's pulling you in rather than, you know, fixating on like, oh, well, I like the sound of the temple or something like that. Just kind of feel into each of them. Close your eyes maybe and see which card kind of appears in your mind's eye, or if you're not a visual person, maybe it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, one of the numbers, like the sound of the number, or like some colors pulling you in. But try to feel more like what has a magnetic attraction for you. So if you need more time with these, feel free to pause here. Timestamps will be in the descriptions, so you can jump straight to your pile when you're ready, and I will see you in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your March 2024 reading. I keep wanting to say 2023 still, so hopefully in the intro I said 2024. Anyway, you guys picked the pile with the shaman. And this, along, we're going to get a few other cards to really solidify the theme of your March, get a little bit more intricate with it. But right off the bat, of any of the 4 cards that were out to choose your piles from, it was like my mind immediately, it was like this story came into me around the shaman before I even like left the intro. It just like caught my attention and I immediately knew what it was about for you guys. So definitely feeling this sense that in March, you are going to be feeling very connected with some inner realms and like other worlds that are beyond ours, that are kind of expanding for you, that you're getting more intimately familiar with. Even if you're not like conscious of this, sometimes this can happen on like a very subtle level. But there's something you're retrieving. There's something that like going into another realm is helping you to sort of reconnect with aspects of you that either got lost or frozen or that were never really allowed out of you. But it's like you're retrieving a part of you that's been lost in another realm, or being connected to another realm is helping you to see that, whatever makes more sense to you, but something's being retrieved here. And I'm not sure, and it might be because it would be a little different for each of you. It might be more like soul retrieval stuff, so a feeling of being really in alignment with yourself, really a deep knowing of yourself, or it might be like some power retrieval where you suddenly move out of like some self-esteem or confidence issues and like retrieve some knowings of your power and feeling like more energized and more present and confident in life. It could be something totally different that's more specific to you, but something's being, connected into and retrieved for you guys in March, which is really cool. Okay, let's get an animal to go along with this to add a little more context. Wow, a lot of these fell. I don't know why. This one is the one I'm feeling though. Okay, hyena. Fascinating. Well, I'm already seeing just symbolism in the illustration of like you're becoming more aware of shadow aspects of yourself. Being able to maybe go, like maybe the realm you're becoming more familiar with and like starting to see in a more clear way are shadow aspects of yourself. And what I mean by that, because that term can be a little bit, it's been a little bastardized in our modern language. Shadow work, but this is a shadow aspect of self. So shadow work in the sense of starting to see certain characteristics or behaviors or personality aspects that you have that have caused you some issues in life. So maybe this is just one example that doesn't have to be for anyone actually in the reading, but say you're someone who tends to get really angry in life, like constantly angry. And you see that and you don't like that, but you don't have like a grasp on why that happens. Like, why do I get angry with, and it might be around something specific. Like I tend to get angry with spouses or people I'm in deep one-on-one relationships. So spouses, business partners, really close friends, and something becomes illuminated. You're getting more in touch with seeing that part of yourself and seeing what it stems from, like what triggers it, what aspect of you is being maybe potentially repressed, or an aspect of you that, it could be something like it's repressed, or it could be something like it's just a part of you that you've had a deep blindness to, but it's out and active and doing things in the world, but because you don't see it, it's sort of running rampant. My sense, because of the shaman, is it's something that's been repressed in you. So let's get specific here, even though it's just a metaphor or one example. Okay, we'll keep going with the, if you were, or someone who tends to get angry, but they don't understand it. And maybe that's around, relationships. But suddenly, like doing it feels more like, in this example, more like some soul retrieval of like understanding that the the thing that triggers that anger in a relationship is that you don't know how to have boundaries and how to see yourself as your own agent within a relationship, like how to see yourself as an individual within that relationship. And so your boundaries get messy with a relationship, and so you're always feeling frustrated. And so now you're seeing clearly, like, oh yeah, I do always get frustrated, but this isn't, it's not about the other person. This stems from me not being able to see myself as a distinct individual within the relationship. It's like I end up melding into that person, and then the boundaries get messy for me, but I have struggled to see that till now. But something comes up and like you see it and you're like, oh, well, now that I understand what's triggering this anger that's been plaguing me for so long in my life, I can start observing that better and understanding that there is a reason for the anger. And I can start to then, when I feel angry, step back and be like, where have I really gotten messy with my boundaries in this situation or this moment, or in this emotion that's coming up? Like, where did the boundary get messed up for me? And you can kind of step back and observe, and it takes time to integrate the shadow. It's one thing to see it, that's the greatest hurdle, but then you have to go through a lot of work to integrate it and work on it and observe it, and but the biggest step, something is happening in March where you're really seeing this. And so often, because I don't want this to feel like a negative reading, like, ugh, March is going to be so heavy, I don't feel that. I feel this sense of relief. Like, sometimes when we have clarity around something that's plagued us forever, it's so refreshing. And so even though there's going to be some work, I feel a sense of refreshness. That's not a word. Like a refreshed feeling in you. Like, ugh, it's so nice to have this clarity. Like, yeah, I see the work ahead of me, but now that I know, I just feel like, I can handle that. Now that I can see this, I can handle this. Yeah, it's going to be work, but I got this. That's what I feel for you guys. Really cool. Okay, we're going to get some journey cards from the Between Worlds deck to see a little bit maybe more about how you see this, or we'll just see what comes up. Might even show things you do see beyond my metaphor, because that doesn't necessarily need to be anyone's shadow. Okay. We've got the Maker, Forgiveness, Universal Body. Okay, I'm gonna pull out, there's a bigger guidebook, and then there's just like this little fold out that gives like the main things, keywords around these, which is helpful. So I'm just going to look at those and then look at the image and kind of get some feel for what's being communicated. Okay, the Maker is, where is it? That's so weird. Why can't I find the Maker? Oh, okay, it's one of the guides. And it's connected to an Aries guide, so I don't know, I may have been on par for some of you about anger, because Aries is the sign of having really, really strong personal boundaries and tends to get angry and frustrated when their personal boundaries are kind of thwarted or infringed upon. Okay, but the Maker in this deck has reality bending, craft, boundless imagination, creativity, autonomy, authenticity, impulsive, trouble finishing. And with the guides, it says, what does the guide need me to know? So this might be giving you some clues about what to look for in yourself. Like maybe as I read those, you're like, I don't see those in myself. And it's like, they're there. The guide is saying, I need you to know that you do have strong passion and creativity. You do have strong autonomy. You do have authenticity. You can connect to, impulsive in this, 'cause sometimes impulsive can be seen as a negative, but in the positive sense, impulse can mean we're connected to our passion and our core. And then here, trouble finishing. I feel like this guide wants you to see an aspect of yourself that is a little bit more passionate, a little more connected to your center, connected to personal boundaries and autonomy, which can lead to feeling more authentically you. So this doesn't have to be in relationship to relationships, but that Aries energy still came through about like boundaries and autonomy. Something about that a guide wants you to understand that these are things you can connect to. These are birthrights you have. Some of you may hear this and be like, I'm like too much of this. So either way, it's like either recognizing you have a birthright to connect to this energy, or there's something that's wanting to tell you about this energy being overactive. Okay, and then let's look at forgiveness, which I think would be probably an aspect. Yeah. Accountability, restoration, and release. And that makes a lot of sense, like doing shadow work, connecting to shadow aspects of our personality requires us to be to hold a lot of self-compassion and to forgive ourselves, like not be so hard in that shadow work. That just creates more shadows if we just pile guilt and shame on ourselves for things that we've been blind to. This is sort of like, no, I'm seeing this eye coming up here. It's like, how would spirit, and this feels like a spirit eye, how would spirit view this? And can I allow that lens to help soften my own lens, to bring a sense of self-compassion and just gentleness around, like, yeah, okay, so maybe there are some things that I haven't seen or connected to in myself, and it's created some issues either for myself or for others. But we all have shadows. We all have aspects of ourselves we don't see, and now I see it. And so now I can move forward with more intention and conscious work here, and that is amazing. That's not something it's sort of like look forward, not backward. There's not my sense here of whatever needs forgiveness is like, it's not as you are resilient, other people are resilient. The way you're weighing whatever you're seeing is inaccurate. It's not as heavy as you may initially feel it to be when you see this shadow more clearly. Yes, there's baggage with it, there's history with it, but it's nowhere near as heavy as you are holding it. So it's like, look forward. Look for the little successes every day you can have now because of this new conscious understanding, this new awareness. Start calculating those wins you have versus the failures you have. Yeah, so just be soft with this. I already feel, at least at some point in this month, that is going to kick in for you, because I did initially feel this sense of relief. I did feel this clarity come through that felt like relief. And so I think that, you know, you may have some ebb and flow with that, and these moments of like, oh, this is going to be a hurdle, or like, wow, I wish I'd seen that 10 years ago, and wow, like what a mess I've made, or, you know, but it's like, no, you need to just move forward, and that's requiring you to forgive yourself, to forgive others that you may have mistaken as like being a cause of something, or if there was, you know, something in childhood that maybe caused you to put a part of yourself into shadow. It's like forgiveness. This is just like move forward. It's time to move forward, to let go. And then we've got universal body, which I think is one of the wisdoms. Oh no, it's not. Universal body. I really would have thought that would be one of the... Where is that card? That's so interesting. It's literally, I don't see it. It makes me feel like, I wonder if it's like oh, it's one of the forces, which this little pull out doesn't have. I have the book here too. So it is like, yeah, it's a really potent thing. It's very end of the book. Universal body. Here we go. Emotional forces, autonomy, and unity. I really think for a lot of you, this is like understanding, like you may have struggles with personal boundaries, which means like your energy dissipates and your autonomy dissipates, and feeling kind of passion in life starts to dissipate, because you have such like a unity sensibility within you, which is actually really beautiful. And it's not saying, so the thing I also feel like that's coming through that adds into the self-compassion is like, the reason why the shadow of having, you know, struggles with boundaries is here is because naturally, like your natural boundary setting is very diffuse, which makes you really tapped into kind of like universal energy. And that's a beautiful thing. And so it's saying like, you don't have to get rid of that, but awareness that makes it hard for you sometimes to snap into a sense of autonomy and energy and impulse is something that you can use as a gauge of like, okay, well, when do I need to center in myself and draw back my boundaries and work on that in a conscious way, to kind of restore things and to get a hold on like where boundaries have become messy, where that's harming, you know, like creating negative outcomes in my life. And so just being able to like identify that quickly so you can snap into some strong boundaries and do some work with that, and then relax back into your kind of porous, kind of natural boundaries. Let's see what this book says though. The universal body or collective life force is the engine of liberation. This card is a reminder of the relational network to which you belong. Your body is part of and contributes to a potent life force, that of planets, cultures, forests, and reefs. This card is also a call to tend to the wholeness and well-being of your own physical and emotional body. Here is a reminder to tune in, take good care, and soak in pleasure. What say your bones? Where fly your feelings? Yeah, I mean, that just confirms everything I already said. It's like, I think your natural boundary setting is quite porous and very connected to sort of cosmic and universal energies, but the shadow of that, of living in a human body on Earth, that if we don't ground it and work on our personal autonomy, can just result in our life feeling like it's leaking its power, leaking its energy, being taken advantage of, you know. So it's sort of like natural setting is this, but it doesn't mean that you can't tune into your boundaries, your own sense of self, because the more you're connected to your boundaries, your autonomy, your passion, your impulse, the more kind of personal spectrum you add into the whole pot, into that universal pot. And in order to really contribute to that, you have to add your own color in. And so this is sort of like tuning you in to do some personal work that may to you feel a little bit selfish. And so that's even some forgiveness for maybe doing some personal work that's hard to see as not selfish, but getting over that hurdle of like, no, I have a birthright to have my own agenda, to have my own interests, to have my own assertive nature, my own confidence and boldness and independence. That's not something to feel guilty about. That's something to work on and admire and use as a positive aspect, a positive force. And as I work on that, I'm adding something to that universal consciousness, that universal body even, that I naturally hold so well. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, let's get some tarot cards as a little bit of confirmation here. I was going to leave the tarot sort of open to see what it brought forward, but I'm interested, and I feel like it'd be helpful for you guys to know how this work is going to feel to you, because some of it feels heavy, but I keep getting this sense of relief at the same time. And those are the cards coming through. They are showing this new sort of understanding and insight as like a really beautiful sense of relief. Yeah, oh my gosh. This is going to feel so refreshing to you guys. This whole kind of recalling a more boundaried self is like bringing you back into your grounding and the potential and power that has. And this deep understanding, to me, this is like Ace of Pentacles to Queen of Pentacles is the spectrum that you should be holding versus the spectrum that you are holding, where it's like you're holding a lot of that Queen of Pentacles, where it's like you can harmonize through kinesthetic understanding, through instinct, like your boundaries are very big and harmonious, and you can hold complexity and you can nourish and nurture, you know, a lot. But if you don't have foundations you're standing on that are really personally centered, you lose some of your power. And this is showing it's the way this is going to feel is like you're gaining a foundation. You're gaining grounding and foundation and a sense of power, because this is universal body, like in your sense of like your body's energy, your body's instincts, your body's power. And then there's all of these, the Magician and Two Spears. It's like I just see your energy rising, and that feeling both with the Maiden and the King, that feeling both fresh energy, but also confident energy. Both of those coming through. And then the Magician showing you suddenly feeling this new connection to being able to manifest in your life. That's a huge key. The way you've been holding boundaries, I think, has been holding you back from manifesting things in your personal life, because you've been so tapped into collective. It's like you haven't manifested anything personally, and it's like I feel like that's a huge key. And suddenly this month you start to connect to that part of you. Maybe that's the part of you that's really been in shadow. Is like, yeah, I can manifest things in my personal life, but I have to really draw some boundaries to have personal boundaries in order to do that. Really cool. Beautiful work, you guys. Okay, let's get a couple. We're gonna do astrology dice twice, each one with a card to show two categories of life where some kind of, big, in proportion to what happens in your month, big events will take place. Okay, so first area of life where an event might happen. 6th house, work, lifestyle, wellness, something around that. And then we'll get an advice card. Stillness. This to me, it's sort of tapping into what we've already talked about, and it feels like you coming into some stillness, some meditation around all the work that's coming through here, all the insight and clarity that's coming through here is helping you to be more still and to look at your lifestyle as a whole. What is the work I'm doing? How do I create rhythm and balance and really beautiful rituals in my life? What is my health and nutrition? And like this deep stillness, bringing this deep clarity of what you want to manifest there. And it's sort of like you're suddenly feeling this blank page and like, ooh, I suddenly feel like I can completely redesign this with clarity, with ease, with, just no issue at all. Okay, the next. So this feels like not an event in a moment that happens, like something happens. This kind of is bleeding into another theme rather than an event. I feel like this is something that comes on due to the bigger theme we've talked about. Then your 12th house, spirituality, art, healing. Makes sense. The healing makes a lot of sense, like a feeling of healing coming through an eagle, a lot of vision, clarity, envisioning. You're seeing your life in a whole new way, in a much more meaningful way as well. But you're getting a lot of clarity about your meaning, about life, and a vision, a very healed vision for your life coming through. So interesting that the categories of life came out feel like a response to the theme we talked about, and not necessarily like these momentary events. You may have a moment in the month where these two things have like this sudden click in, but they do feel like they're things that are going to unfold as like sub themes here. Okay, to end, let's just get you a nice, beautiful message from the goddess realm and the spirit realm as well. I kind of feel the goddess is like that earth spirit, and then the divine feather messages as like the sky spirit. So Bridget, don't back down. Stand up for what you believe is right. This is about, Bridget is coming in to help you really clarify your boundaries and claim what's yours, and feel that, she was said to be born with fire in her head, so she can really help you to reconnect with your core, your passion, who you are, what you want, standing up for yourself. And then we have Nuthatch, stay grounded and welcome the new knowledge and perspectives coming to you. Yeah, that's what it definitely, that connects to everything we've talked about. But I love the grounded, like that's something that's deeply coming in for you. It's like this new understanding of your autonomy and boundaries is like this very grounding feeling for you, I feel like. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this March reading resonated. I feel very excited for you guys. This is really kind of like profound stuff to happen in a month. Good luck with that. If this resonated, I always appreciate support. likes, shares, subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And I wish you a beautiful month. See you guys later. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your March 2024 reading. So the card you chose, or the pile you chose, is the Cave. And immediately, like, the first thing that came to mind when I was, in the intro and going through the different piles, like, the thing that came into my mind when I got to this one was like, are you going into a cave or coming out of a cave? Which is an interest, I don't know, like, I've never had that question come up when I've drawn that card, so that's something I definitely want to tune into. Does the cave mean you're coming out of a cave or going into a cave? Oops, let's see, my mic dropped. Hold on one second. Okay, so let's get a few more cards to get some clarity around this. We're going to pick an animal card. Lizard. That to me feels like you're going into a cave, but specifically a cave, like a dream cave, not like a hermit cave or a cave to really feel a sense of security, like you're insecure. So sometimes I read the cave as like needing to go inward to kind of strengthen our souls and our foundations. This cave is a dream cave. This cave is you connecting to inspiration, to art, to, I don't know, like vision quest work. I don't know exactly, but definitely dreams. I don't know if you're like needing to connect to new dreams. So there is this call to kind of like pull back a little bit this month from saying yes to a lot of social affairs and activities and events and, taking on extra duties at work or around the house. It's like more of like, what can I take off my plate so I can kind of melt away into sort of a cosmic space or cave to reconnect with some dreams, some inspiration, some visions. Woo. Starting to hiccup for some reason. Okay, let's get a little bit more about this. Kinfolk, Passage, Creativity. Yeah, okay. So I've got this little fold-out booklet that gives keywords for each of these just to connect to the meaning of the card, and then I want to look at the images a little more closely too. So kinfolk, family, friendship, togetherness, and bonds. Passage is turning points, acceptance, and change. And then creativity, creative projects, inspiration, artistry. Interesting. I'm feeling the kinfolk as not being the subject matter of what you're having a turning point around or needing to go into this dream cave to connect to creativity. I'm feeling kinfolk as this is like, I said maybe this is a month to pull back from a lot of like social activity and extra duties and this and that. I'm feeling this kinfolk as tapping in to those really close support networks that you might have, whether that's chosen family or biological family, but people that you have just like such a deep bond on that you can ask them for a lot. And I'm feeling that it's time to call on these people to pick up some slack for you. I think this is like a heads up, like March is for you to dissolve a little bit into dream time. So what is it that you can, like, say you have kids and you hear this reading a few days, but I'm going to put this up a few days before March. Like, so say you see this reading a few days before March or in the first couple days, this would be your call to action of like, okay, so my kid or kids really love spending time with their cousins or with grandma and grandpa. So I'm going to be proactive about scheduling like a weekend away at, one weekend with their cousins and one weekend with their family, or asking grandma or grandpa to take them after school every day for a week. Whatever it is you can think of, or maybe it's like a really good friend that has a bond with your kids. And this doesn't have to be around kids. Like maybe you can ask if they would be willing to watch them a little extra this month. Or maybe you have a spouse and maybe in the past you've picked up some slack around duties in the home. And so maybe you can just be proactive and be like, I feel like I need some time to just be a bit of a, like a slouch or whatever, from your, I know I'm doing important work internally, but from your perspective, I'm going to look like a slouch, giving you the heads up. I just need some time to kind of decompress and have less stress in my life. And, just a heads up, A, don't judge me. B, I may not do the dishes as much or take out the garbage. I might forget, like, just, this is temporary, like if you see things I'm missing, please don't get on my case or just like do it for me, so those are just a few examples that are coming to mind of like, or if you have kids, you could be like, this month you guys are going to make your own lunches and you are going to do the dishes after dinner, that kind of thing. Like whatever it is you can do to kind of just be proactive about giving yourself some space through leaning into your support systems. Because going into this dream space, and it feels like a vision quest to me, like maybe I guess like an internal vision quest, is that, and you could even just go and wander out, like on long hikes or something too that feel like that. But something is happening inside of you where you're about to change cycles, and anytime we come into a new cycle, we're letting go of an old one. And you're just needing some space to do that work, to kind of let go of some things, to surrender some things, to rejuvenate and heal before something new kicks off. But there's like a new creative cycle about to come into your life, but you need to do some restoring and some dreaming and connect to inspiration and get just like a little bit lost in the boundaries of life, allow some things to fall into disrepair, because sometimes when we do that, that's meant to happen so that we can transcend how we were doing certain things. But it feels like a very big new, the creativity feels like a hint from spirit. Like this may not quite be felt yet in March, but this is what's coming, a big new creative cycle. And so you need to give yourself space to decompress, to surrender, to let some baggage just sort of fall apart, to lean into some support systems so I can just kind of do this dream work. And just allow things to kind of just be, and be less effortful and more regenerative. So I do feel spirit coming through wanting to give you a pep talk of like, this isn't forever. This is a phase that is an indication of a whole new chapter coming in that will feel very creative and inspired. Okay, let's get some tarot to add a little more context to all of this. We've got, Ten of Spears, Maiden of Grails. Yeah, Ten of Spears, you're about to, it's like paradigm shifting. You're like the creative path you're on right now may feel very heavy, like you're at the final step. I feel like you're going to take the final steps in the first half of March, if not the first week of March. And then you enter the liminal space. You enter that paradigm shift. And so you need to give yourself space to connect into new potential, to restore your emotions and connect into new potential through how you feel, and be able to have the space to scan the horizon and look for the new openings. Ace of Spears, yeah. It's sort of like, and Queen of Grails. It's beautiful energy here. I think March is going to feel the Ace of Spears in reverse is sort of like this disconnection from your creative power, or the power of your fire, the power of your ability to transmute life. And it's because it's preparing, it's in incubation. And the Queen of Grails is sort of like the archetype you need to call forward in yourself, to be gentle with yourself, to be a nourishing force for yourself. And this particular Queen of Grails is in it like she feels like she's in a dream time, right? So just be nourishing towards yourself, be gentle about you needing to take that time to nourish, because you're incubating a new creative force. And that will turn around, and, not in March, but I would imagine in the coming month or two, for sure. Okay, beautiful. So that's the big overarching theme of March for you guys, but we're going to get to other categories of life where a big event may take place. In the first pile, these ended up coming out as like sub-themes for the month rather than events, but I want to keep that open, so we'll just see what happens here. So 7th house, relationships. But also your sense of design and harmony and balance. So it could be either one of those. And small signs. Yeah, I mean, so this does feel like an event, like little events, not one big event. Like just these are like little things will be coming through for you this month. Signs about this new creative chapter coming in, and you'll get small signs about this by how life is mirroring things to you, whether that's how you're seeing aesthetic things in relationship, like, design is sort of about relationship in that kind of artistic sense. So you may be feeling a sense of design coming through, relationship that's artful coming through, or there may be things mirrored to you by others that give sort of like little small signs, little hints about what's coming through for you. But yeah, there's the way relationship as a broad theme is taking place in your life in March is helping to mirror something to you. A new quality incubating in you. So that new creative cycle coming through could have something to do with design. It doesn't have to, but for some of you that might resonate. And then 6, which is work, lifestyle, health and wellness. Okay, let's see what the inner compass says about this. Love. I feel a couple messages come through here. This to me taps into, again, connecting to those you know who love you unconditionally to pick up some slack for you in your day-to-day. It could even be you being like, now that I know this ahead of time and it does resonate and it makes sense, I'm going to ask for some personal days from work too. I'm going to take some vacation days, and not necessarily to go anywhere unless you feel inspired to actually remove yourself from your day-to-day life, and book a room somewhere just all by yourself and go somewhere. But this to me is a sub-theme. It's like picking up on stuff we've already talked about, where it's like, love yourself enough to ease up on your daily duties this month. Also, tap into the loved ones in your life to help pick up some slack. And in terms of like an event, it just feels like you even putting this out there of like, I would love for this to happen, and attracting it, like receiving it too. Like sometimes if we ask for things like, I would like for this month to feel easy to me in terms of what's on my plate in my day-to-day, so I have more space, like consciously put that out there, and you may, and then be open to receiving that. And things may naturally actually come your way, like in a magical way, where it's like you put that out there, you dropped into a receptivity of like, yes, I can receive that. I can receive easier days this month. And then suddenly it's like your boss calls and is like, so-and-so's sick. I need to go out of town. We're just going to shut down for the rest of the week. And so take a long weekend. Or a spouse just generally being like, coming to you and being like, I feel like you need a little break or vacation. Like, why don't you ease up this week? I'm going to take over this and this. Like, it might just actually come to you if you put it out there. But this is also saying through love, also just be proactive about if those things don't naturally just come to you, just love yourself enough to take some things off of your plate and create some more spaciousness in your days for dreaming. Okay, last thing we're going to do is get a message from the goddess realm and the spirit realm through the feather messengers. I definitely feel like goddesses are like the earth magic, and the feather messengers are like the sky spirit. Okay. Yeah, blossoming, Arakura, you are just getting started, so have patience with yourself and the process and do not give up. Definitely tapping into the fact that something is incubating. You are getting ready to blossom again into life. And it just feels like she's in a dream space, right? So this goddess is here to help you tap into that, but also tap into that image and sort of make intention of like, I want my month to feel like that. I want space to dream. Because I do feel that sense of possibility that something's coming, but like, I just need some space. And then Finch, new opportunities and choices are opening to you now. Claim them. So it is possible by the end of March that maybe you do come out of this incubation and into, this new creative cycle. Or you may just be feeling a sense of this is coming. Like, I know it's coming. Getting ready to claim them, whatever resonates. But for some of you, you may actually kind of blossom into the new chapter before the end of March. All right, really beautiful. I hope you can kind of tap into and be proactive and as well as receptive about creating some space for yourself, Yeah, something really gorgeous is coming in for you guys. So take advantage of like healing, dreaming. Those things are very meaningful to make the incubation in a new chapter really potent. Okay, so if this resonated, I always appreciate support. Likes, shares, and subscribes are always easy. Also, always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments. And yeah, happy March. Good luck with this new blossoming and dreaming coming through. And I hope to see you in future readings. Hello, beautiful pile 3. Welcome to your March 2024 reading. You guys chose the pile with the temple, which is kind of the main theme for your March. And just like intuitively what's coming through with temple is I feel this sense of like life feeling very, it's like you're having a new set of lenses attached to your eyes as if they were like a camera. And it's like suddenly like the film and the lens you have, it's like something's like clicking in and you're seeing life in like this much more beautiful, refreshed way. And I get this overwhelming sense of life getting a big revamp and refresh for you. I feel like a big spring cleaning coming through you. And not just the purging of what's no longer resonating with you and what's kind of become baggage in your environments as well as within yourself, but like as that space is made, it like immediately gets filled back up with a new sense of like beauty coming through you. And this just making life feel very sacred and clear to you. It's a very clear, fresh sense coming through. But yeah, space is cleared and then like blossoming newly in a beautiful way is what it feels like to me. Let's get an animal card to add a little context here. Elephant. Yeah, and one of the things in the elephant energy is being able to clear obstacles. And to me, this feels like clearing, like maybe there is a lot of stuff that's piled up in your environments and you're just like, I don't even know where to begin. And you felt this way for like a year or something, but it's like this month that elephant energy comes through and it's just like, no, we got this. This is no big deal. I can trudge through this. Nothing is an obstacle for me. It is time to purge. It is time to do a really, really deep spring clean. We've got the power, we've got the energy, the clarity, the initiative, like this is happening. That's what this feels like to me, which is so great. Yeah, I would love to claim this pile. Anyway, let's get a few more cards from the Between Worlds to get a little more context to this. Resolve. We'll do this one, the Amorist, and then this top card, Grasping. Okay. I just want to look at these a little closer. Okay, and then I've got this little, for this deck, there's like a book for it, but then there's this little fold out that's easy to get its keywords. So I want to get the keywords and then I want to look at the images a little more too. Okay, so Resolve has, if I can find it, hope, resilience, commitment. And this definitely to me plugs into that elephant. It's like, yeah, it's time. And there's like that star, I can't tell what's going on here. It's like a bird, kind of, but there's like a star in its third eye. I think that's what's happening. So it's like a new vision, a new hope, and that giving like a deep, resolve to just plow through some things you need to get through, clear out some things you need to get through. And then we've got the Amorist, which I believe is one of the guides. Let's see. Yes, passion, pleasure seeking, emotion, sensitivity, connection, struggles with independence, vulnerability. What I feel with this card is it's sort of like this new world is blossoming out of this body. It's like, I feel like you're starting to have visions of what you want life to feel and look like, how you want to more deeply connect to pleasure in your life through how life feels and how your environments feel. And so this is like the resolve is kind of that elephant energy I was feeling of like, it's just time to purge some stuff in my life. It's time to trudge through. I can get through any obstacle and resistance I have. And then the Amorist feels very connected to that temple energy I was feeling of like, where it was like I got this sense of like the minute you sort of clear out the spaces, it's like the space gets reimagined with new blossoming and new beauty, and that feels like the Amorist mirroring that. And it's coming from this need to feel your spaces, and I don't know, like whatever gives you pleasure. It doesn't have to just be your spaces. It can be how you even connect to your body. So it could even be going on like a new sort of whole food diet or something, where it's like you're purging all the junk food and old ways of eating and treating your body. Or it could be your spaces, your environment. It could be mental attitudes. It could be all of the above, but it's like where this is all stemming from is this deep need to connect to yourself and life in a much more beautiful, pleasurable way. Okay, and then grasping. Let's see. It says desperation, insecurity, strain. This feels like the overlying energy coming into the month, like what you're using that elephant and resolve to get over. It's like you've been grasping to or maybe it's even, okay, actually, I know what this is. You've been grasping to understand how it, like what is sacred to you, and how does pleasure orient my life? And like really, it feels like you've been doing a lot of work to really even understand where your heart center is, what you're drawn to, what feels beautiful, what feels pleasurable, and why does my life not exactly reflect that? And maybe it's because I don't have like a deep centering in that. And I feel like, maybe in the past few months or even year, you've kind of been grasping to be like, what is this? How do I connect with this? Like something's not right in terms of how I'm connecting to pleasure in life, or how I'm oriented around what I value or what's beautiful to me. And it's like, this is the month where all that grasping, all that inner soul work, all that seeking and searching finally like congeals, and it's like, oh, I got it. And now I feel that initiative. Like I've wanted to purge the old, but I didn't know what was supposed to take its place. So I didn't know I didn't have the energy to do that. But now I can see what is supposed to be, what my sense of beauty is, and what my sense of pleasure, wants to connect to. And now that I see that, I have the initiative, I have the resolve, I have that strength and power to get in and clear out the old and really allow new energies and that new sense of what gives me pleasure and value and beauty to just unfold. So yeah, it's really refreshing energy. And I said that in most piles, there's some refreshing energy coming in March for sure. Okay, let's do some tarot to get even further insight into this. These tarot cards have tended to, I'm trying to leave them open, and I want to still leave them open, but they have tended to show how this is going to feel to you. But we'll see what comes through. The Hanged Man, the Star, yep. Three of Grails, beautiful. Eight of Pentacles, and the Hermit. Yes, I love this. This is really, like, immediately every single card made sense to me. Coming into March, you're still in that grasping moment. Like what is pleasure? What is beauty? This is all sort of like changing for me. And it's because it is changing for you. You are moving. You've been in a process of moving into your heart and seeing more through the lens of your heart in life, which changes how you connect to so many aspects of life. In this instance, one of those is how you connect to beauty, value, and pleasure. And it's like it takes some work for us to really, really let go of mind and really, really drop into heart seeing. And you're like on the brink of that entering March. At some point in March, it happens. And then you have the vision. You're like, oh, I get it. And you feel a refreshed hope. You feel new belief. You start charging in like the elephant with resolve. And then the Three of Grails coming through here. This feels like, oftentimes the Three of Grails is sort of like being with your soul people, your soul tribes and community, that's very safe and, deep rooted type of places. But to me, this is you starting to wake up to the dimensionality of who you are and of your soul and feeling alive times 3. So it's like you being in communion with you feeling a need to celebrate with this new sort of wholeness coming in, a new clarity of a lot of different dimensions of yourself that you haven't been clear about before. That's what this particular Three of Grails and this particular reading feel like to me. Just feeling very inwardly connected and whole, and that feeling really celebratory just to your energy, just uplifting. It's like uplifting and super connected and gorgeous. And then the Eight of Pentacles is like life is starting to work. Suddenly life works. Suddenly you have the motivation and the drive and the initiative to dig into life and to use your skill sets to move life along. And that part of that could be refilling spaces you've purged with skills, your skill sets that match who you are, who you know yourself to now be, as the Hermit of like having this new deep understanding of your personal instinct. To me, often, not in every reading, but to me, the Hermit will often represent this new level of mastery where it's like, you know, maybe you've worked at really honing some kind of skill and being trained in the way one is trained in that skill. So let's say the violin. There's certain traditional ways of learning that instrument and understanding that instrument. But at some point, with all the practice you've put in, if it's something you really connect to and you've taken seriously and you're really trying to come into an instinct with it, suddenly there's a level of practice and instinct and mastery where you let go of all of those rules, and suddenly it's coming, your skill in that particular skill is breaking all of the rules, but it's okay to do that. There's a difference of like a novice coming in and breaking rules and doing it their own way, and that not always going so great, to someone who's mastered something and now starts breaking all the rules. And this is what this feels like to me. And it feels like as you really start to see through the lens of your heart, you come into your personal instinct around things you are already quite good and practiced and skillful at. And it's like a whole new level and quality of how you find pleasure through that, how you connect to it, how it brings you value, starts to unfold. And so now you're like, okay, I got it. I didn't realize this is what was happening, but I knew I was in some kind of weird transition and everything felt like it was falling apart. I didn't even know if I connected to this skill anymore or this instinct. But I got it. I was moving to a different level that was a more individualistic instinct on top of a mastery. And so now that this has clicked in, I can clear out the debris of things I don't need anymore and start filling this up with my instinct, my particular rhythm, my particular whatever's really kind of sunk in and become whole in you. It is a sense of wholeness and self-sufficiency and self-sovereignty. And so like whatever you start filling back up with spaces and things that you're purging is going to be like really unique to you feeling. And it will feel like you, and it's going to feel beautiful, and just like you've created these mental, emotional, physical, psychological spaces to inhabit that are now so sacred because they're so wholly you. Yeah, really, really beautiful. Okay, we are now going to get two categories of life that may have important events take place this month. So far, these have ended up not being so much actual events, but kind of building off of what we've done here, but we'll see what happens for you guys. Okay, first category, 7. So in your reading, because of what's already come through, this feels very much so connected more to aesthetic design and design being about relationship and harmonizing, which is what the 7th house is about, but oftentimes we say that's about our relationships with others. I'm reading it a little bit more because you had such personal energy. I didn't see a lot of relationship energy coming through here. It's like personal sense of value and beauty and instinct, and it was very individualistic here. I'm seeing this as like a quality of aesthetic, something around a quality of aesthetic. It doesn't mean there can't be an event with a partner in life, but surrender. But it does, yeah, especially with this card, it feels like, you know, like when you drop into your heart as your lens, it's a more surrendered state. And I feel like being in this newly kind of surrendered state that's partially connecting into where the universe is directing you, and partially but then responding to where the universe is moving your life with your particular instinct. This is a deep wholeness coming through, but in this kind of surrender but instinct response, it's like, yeah, a new quality of aesthetic really coming through. So yeah, this is just sort of building on what we've already talked about. It's not necessarily an event, but I do feel in the realm of events that there will be events in your month where a new, more flowing quality of aesthetic starts to flow from you. But that does translate to how you relate in general in life. So relationships also that are very one-on-one could take on like a new elevated, like ascended quality too. Okay, and then 2, perfect. And I have to say the 7th and 2nd house are the houses that Venus would naturally correlate with. And that's very much so in terms of like connecting to your value and beauty and aesthetic. Like that's very much so what we've been talking about. So 2nd house is like your, how you connect to your self-worth, what you value, how you find pleasure, what you find beautiful, and how you mold your physical spaces, including your body. So yeah, deep sacredness coming through with all of that. It's clicking in for you. New chapter. Yeah, I mean, what else can I say? That's just so spot on. New chapter of knowing what your values are, how to feel valued, what you find beautiful, what gives you pleasure. It could even relate to a new income for some of you. Because when you really know what you value, that's how you draw value to you as well. Okay, last thing we're going to do is get a message from the goddess realm and the feather realm, which to me feel like the earth spirit and the sky spirit. Okay, so goddess message for you guys for pile 3. I love this for you. Abundantina. Is that how it's pronounced? Yeah. Anyway. Prosperity. The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. So not only is this kind of very individual work you're coming into, but the universe is going to respond to the beauty you're feeling within. Especially if you drop into like, I understand my beauty, what's beautiful to me, what my value is, what I do value, how I want my physical world to feel. And I can be assertive and create that for myself, but I'm also just as willing to have that reflected to me and receive what's reflected to me. So allow things to come in, be drawn into me based off of how I'm resonating. So just as much as you are coming into an understanding and creating beauty in your life, it's being matched in what you should receive back to. So things are flowing towards you as well as out of you, which is really amazing. Okay, filling this one. White owl, the wisdom and messages of the divine are within you. And I feel like ultimately that's how this month is going to feel to you. Like you're really in touch with divinity, your divinity in general, And that's just like, it's giving you this new level of wisdom and this new level of peace and beauty, and things just kind of falling into place, really, with equal measure of effort and receiving. Yeah, so gorgeous. Really, really beautiful reading, you guys. All of them so far have been, but in terms of, I don't know, I would say, I don't know, I don't want to say ease, but it is the word that's coming, like ease of your month. So far you guys have the cake with things just feeling kind of, I mean, there is effort there. I do feel that spring cleaning energy, but I feel like it's going to feel good. But like psychological effort, I feel like you've already been through it. You've already been through that psychological deep, deep work. And this is a month of like that opening up. So like that not being too effortful this month, because you are receiving the bounty of work you have been doing. So yeah, gorgeous. All right, if this was resonant to you, I always appreciate support. Like, share, subscribe is always an easy way. Also always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments. And I wish you guys a really gorgeous, beautiful March, and I hope to see you in future readings. Okay, hello pile 4. Welcome to your March 2024 reading. You guys chose the unseen as your pile. So this is your theme card generally. Obviously we will get a lot more to add on to this, but to kick off, the unseen is your theme for March. And immediately what came through to me was you need to trust your third eye, your inner knowing specifically. There's something that you know, you have an inner knowing about that is giving you either a leg up or an ability to get to it. It's like March is not a time to sit and do like a lot of this deep inner work of like, who am I? What am I doing? This and that. Like, I feel like you've been doing that and there's some knowing that's clicking into you and it's like, go, get to it. That's what this feels like to me. Which is interesting because that's definitely not really how I've ever interpreted this card, but that's just what it felt like to me. Like, you know something, you have the inner knowing, so act on it. Get going with that, whatever that means to you. Okay, so let's get an animal card to add to this, a little more context. Octopus. Yeah, I mean, when I think of an octopus, they are so of the animal realm, like they are hyper intelligent. They have, I'm probably going to mess this up a little, so just take this with like more as a metaphor. But it's like, I think that they have sort of brain centers in each of their 8 arms. So essentially it's like they have 8 brains in a way. I know they have 3 hearts, but I think they also have kind of like 8, and I don't know if I would quite call them brains in the way that we have a brain. It's like, but these like 8 separate kind of command centers. So they're just like really capable. They're very smart. They're very agile. They're very, there's very special animals. And it's like, I'm just feeling that for you guys. It's like, trust not just your intelligence, but your, it's like you're supposed to be reaching at like entangling in life. It's like, get to it. You're supposed to be entangling in life and you know exactly how and where and why, and like get agile with that this month. Like really this feels like get connected, get interested, get curious, move, do, explore, follow your inner knowings. Yeah, I don't know what else to add there. It just feels very dynamic. But something about trusting, like trust your inner knowing keeps coming through. Like, I don't know why you're maybe holding yourself back with something or uncertain about something, but this is saying, no, your discernment is on point. It's like you know what to reach for, what not to reach for. Trust your inner knowing. The discernment of your inner knowing is on point. If you feel a gut response of no to things, just, don't noodle with that. Just let it be. Like, nope, that's a no. If you feel that inner knowing of a yes, that's a yes. It's like you don't need to waste time getting too fussy into certain details and due diligence. Not that that's not good to do, but I feel like you're in this moment right now where your instincts and your inner knowings are so on point that you can kind of just trust those gut feelings you have. Departure and the destroyer. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to pull the little booklet out for those two. Departure. Closure, deeper callings, retirement, moving on. Oh, so maybe this is about something you're supposed to kind of move away from, an inner knowing about things you're supposed to kind of close out. And in that regard, this is like, don't worry though, like you're so agile. If you close one thing, you'll open something just as soon as you close it. Like you're incredibly agile right now. So if you're feeling that need to close something out, to leave something, to depart something, even if it's not so final, like I'm going to leave this spouse because it doesn't have to be that dramatic, but it could be like, I'm done with my spouse not pulling their weight in domestic chores, and so I'm done with that. And so there's a chart. I'm gonna give them sort of like, not necessarily an ultimatum, but just like laying down the law, like this is how it is now. I'm done doing this for you, or this aspect of how we function is done. It could be like that. It doesn't have to be like I'm leaving this person for good. It could be like there's something going on and it doesn't have to be a relationship. At work, I feel like I'm doing the duty, some kind of duty that someone else is supposed to be doing. Like I picked up the slack for like what I thought was going to be a week or a month because they had something going on, but then somehow it just ended up being mine. And that's not what my job description is, and I'm not being paid for it. So like, I'm just done giving it back. There you go. So it could be like that, but for some of you, it might be bigger. Whatever resonates to you, if it's like you're done with something, or you're like a pattern, or you're entirely done with a chapter, whatever connects to you. But I feel like you should know, you have this inner knowing of what it is, that it's just time to be done with. And then the destroyer, which I think is one of the guides. Let's see. Yes. Ferociousness, unapologetic, untamed, unafraid of change, destruction of illusion, forcing new routes. Yeah, I was picking up on that. I do feel for a lot of you, this is more like you're done with certain behaviors, you're done with certain way things are fair. You know, it's like, it's not necessarily like I'm done with this job, I'm done with this relationship. It's like how this is working in this job or how this is working in this relationship, no more, done. I don't care if that means I'm fired. If that, you know, if that's what it results in, so be it. But like, I'm unapologetic. This is like, I'm not having it anymore. Final boundary. That's what this feels like. And it's like, you're not afraid though to lay down the law, because if that were to result in a more final end of that, whatever this connects to for you, it's like, yeah, but I've got 8 arms. So you chop off one, I've got 7 others. I'm not worried. Like, I say this is a job, and you kind of lay down the law, like, I am not being paid for, like, either you give me a raise or this particular thing I'm doing that I'm not supposed to be doing needs to go back to where it's supposed to be done. And if they're like, tough, that's not possible, you need to keep doing it, we can't give you a raise, I think that will result in you being like, fine, I'm done. I believe in my resume, I believe in my skill set, I believe in the network of connections I have, I can get a better job, like, I don't need this. That's how it feels. It's like, you're not worried. You're so agile, you're so connected, you're so on point right now, and your inner knowing is so strong that you're like, here's how it is. If you can't take it, I'm moving on. Wow, I feel a force. Like, I never get this kind of, I don't know, just like, it's not an anger coming through me, but it is. It's just like final note, like, take it or leave it. It's very definitive energy coming through me. So take that as you will, but it feels to me, and this is a theme that actually has gone through every reading, no matter if the things coming out have felt difficult or beautiful, the overwhelming sense I've gotten in every reading is a relief. This is a relief. So whatever the result is here, of what happens in terms of like trusting your inner knowing and kind of putting an unapologetic assertion out, whatever the result of that is going to feel like a relief. Yeah, okay, so let's do some tarot to get more context here. We've got King of Pentacles. We've had a lot of kings come out in every reading. There's been either kings or queens and a lot of aces too. Interesting. King of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. I do feel a new beginning for you, or at least a clarity, cutting the cord of something with really precise clarity and just sitting in your confidence. Like, nope, I'm grounded, I'm stable. Ultimately, whatever you decide isn't going to hurt me. I'm that stable and that confident. And I have no qualms about a new beginning. And then 10 of Grails. Yeah, you're in your power this month. 10 of Swords. There is, but this is also reflecting like 10 of Swords and Ace of Swords. There's an ending and a beginning here. Something is ending, and that's giving new clarity, new passion, new and death and 10 of Swords under departure and destroyer. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, we start in March 2024. We begin an eclipse season, which always is a wild card. It always brings shakeups. It always reorients. If not in our personal lives, we see that all around us and in the world. But for you, it, I think, is going to feel personal. There's going to be reorientation. Certain things are done. So this could be, for many of you, a bigger moving on than just like this behavior or this duty is no longer mine. That may result in like, okay, well then this is done. But it's good. You are at the end of a cycle. It's time to move on. And you'll immediately have confidence and clarity of what that move on means. what that is to you. And it feels refreshing. It feels like, oh yeah, like a tuning fork came into my life and realigned me to my right resonance. Things were off, right? And I knew it. I knew it, but I needed to come into this certain center of confidence and trust in my agility and intelligence. And that sinks in March, and then some reorienting takes place. And the 10 of Grails to me is sort of like trust in the flow of where the universe is taking you somewhere that is very harmonious, that you know how to hold with a certain fluid, composing, meaningful understanding. That's where the tuning fork this month, that's where the shift and shakeup this month is taking you. So trust if the universe is kind of pushing you away from some aspect of life, trust that it's taking you somewhere better, even though there can be uncertainty in that transition. But I'm reading it that you do trust it. I'm reading it that you have a clarity and a confidence and a trust in yourself, and like, yeah, whatever is moving on from here, it's like, it's realigning me in a very needed way. So I do feel the trust, but that doesn't mean, even if you have inner knowings, even if you have a deep trust, even if you know your agility and intelligence, it doesn't mean that there won't be uncertainty. So there will be a level of uncertainty, but just lean into that trust, lean into your inner knowings, lean into your confidence, because yeah, you will be guided to somewhere much, much more fulfilling, whatever this centers around. Okay. I think I'm going to use this next portion to see which aspects of life this actually does center around, instead of getting like these specific events. Okay, so what category of life might this be affecting? 4th house, so that's home. You could be moving home. There could be a move, a remodel, a refreshening, different people, depending on your stage in life. It could be like you're getting different, if you're younger, like different roommates coming in, like maybe an old roommate that's just been a pain, like a thorn in your side is cut, they're done. Or you move because of that. Or if you are someone that owns a home and you have a spouse or a family, or you just own a home and don't need roommates, something's changing there. Could be a move, but it could be something that just makes home feel much more aligned. There could be shifts in family dynamics. Maybe there's some family that you need to draw boundaries with. Yeah, whatever that means to you. I don't get the sense of like fully cutting off someone in family, but it's like drawing a really, really strong boundary that's been needed or something. Or maybe someone in your family moves and that changes a dynamic to make it a little easier. Or like, a family member gets married and suddenly their spouse is the one that deals with things you dealt with, or so yeah, whatever, family or home, something is shifting, whether it's in the residence or in something about people in your roots. And this is transformation. Yeah, so remodel, a home remodel. Someone in your family could be suddenly realizing they need deep therapy, going into family therapy, or someone deciding to get some help that's been needed. Or if like maybe you have a family member that needs to be in a treatment center and it's been a huge issue and they finally recognize it, you know. But yeah, for some it might be like remodel or a move or just a transformation in the home of who's living there. But yeah, something going on there. Okay, another area where this might take place, third house. Community, connection, communication, neighbors, siblings. So certainly with fourth and third, it could be siblings. It could even be good. Maybe something amazing is happening for a sibling and it transforms aspects of your own life because of things, powerful things that happen in their life. Or but if we want to segregate it, like, or third and fourth, I mean, these are next door neighbors, so they do feel tied to me. Changing neighborhoods, like third house is our neighbors and fourth house is our home. So like changing neighborhoods, something going on with a sibling that's transformative. Intention. That's beautiful. That inner knowing. It's like, you know, give intention to things, make the transformations that are needed. You know, community, you know, if you're someone that has roommates, that roommates can be kind of a community. And so like maybe that needs a shift. Third house is also learning. You could be moving to go to school somewhere. Yeah, I mean, they do feel connected though. Moving to go to school, something happening with a sibling, changing neighborhoods. Those are three things that pop into mind, but it could definitely be, you know, 1,000 different things. But those are just some ideas that come through. Okay, to end this, we are going to get a goddess message and a spirit message from the divine feather message, which I kind of see this as like the earth spirit and the sky spirit. About pile 4's March. Oops. Guinevere, true love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. So whatever does happen, whatever reorients, whatever shifts, especially in your foundations, that shift is going to feel much more loving. And give you space to feel more romantic about life. It doesn't have to be about another, but like more romantic about life in general. But you could be meeting someone in community that you decide to start a home with, you know, that, so it could, you know, go that way. And then this card fell right out. Flicker. New rhythms are coming into your life now. You are encouraged to trust and adapt. I mean, it does, for a lot of you, feel like a move, like a move. Something is shifting, though, in your day-to-day that is affecting how home feels. Like maybe you're changing jobs, which changes like the community you're around, and that job has more income, so you can like update things in your house, and it just like life just feels more beautiful because of this new shift. Yeah, so whatever, you know, I mean, there's a lot of ways this can go. I hope I gave enough examples to kind of get you thinking. And it's funny how this pile, it felt this need to give so many examples. I didn't feel that in the other piles, but it feels like that octopus to me. Like it's just so dynamic and agile. So I'm like, oh, I need to like give you 8 different possibilities. So anyway, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope you have a beautiful March. It definitely feels like a pivotal month, like this eclipse season is for sure one that is doing some reorienting. Lean into the uncertainty and the confidence and inner knowings you have within the uncertainty, because you are being moved somewhere much more beautiful in terms of how you feel your daily rhythms, and in terms of how you feel like life can feel more romantic and full. Okay, so if this resonated, I always appreciate support with likes, shares, subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And yeah, I'm wishing you a really gorgeous March, and I hope to see you in future readings. All right, see you guys.